and a warm welcome to Mining Review Africa and DRC Mining Week 2023. Today we are joined by Mr. Dharmesh Patel, Managing Director at Mount Meru Petroleum Zambia Limited. Delivering fuel and lubricants to the mining industry, Mount Meru Lubricants currently has one of the best plants in Africa, specifically Zambia, with a state-of-the-art technology and a blending unit. Mount Meru Petroleum plans to establish and operate more than 2,000 fuel stations across Africa by the year 2030. Dharmesh is here to tell us more about Mount Meru's service offering in the African mining sector, covering the company's successes in Africa, identified areas for growth, as well as latest innovations and technologies. Welcome, Dharmesh, and thank you for taking the time to chat with us today.
Thank you, Tarren. Thank you.
Okay, for a start, can you give us a brief history of Mount Meru Petroleum?
Sure. So Mount Meru was established in 1979. We commenced operations in Tanzania, so predominantly a Tanzanian company. We are now one of the largest corporate houses in East and Central Africa, with interest in petroleum products, edible oil production, logistics, and the whole value chain in terms of petroleum, including port storage and importation and retail. Um, our main line of business has been the importation and distribution of petroleum products to its customers, and the group's activities are spread across 14 countries in sub-Saharan Africa.
Okay, so what services do you offer the African mining sector?
So we offer fuel supply solutions. We offer lubricants. We also offer specialty greases that are manufactured to spec for mining houses. We also do offer the construction, operation, and maintenance of fuel depot. So we come in and basically we offer an end-to-end fuel solution for the mines. We do understand that fuel is a substantial portion of costs of operating a mine. So, a cost-effective service does help the mines maintain and reduce costs. Um, the mining costs, the fuel portion of the cost of a mine could go up to 25-30%. So if we can offer effective and continued consistent supply of quality, of course, then we work as stakeholders with the mines to try and help them maintain the costs. What we also do is, in a bid to help maintain the entire fuel value chain, we also maintain inventory at larger mines. So that takes the whole burden of maintaining inventory for mines as well.
Okay, so staying on the African mining sector, excuse me, to what do you attribute your success?
So, well, first of all, we're an African company with 100% presence in Africa. We only operate in Africa. That's our home. That's our home ground. We have vast experience in terms of our entire management team in handling Africa-specific challenges, which could range from supply chain management into logistics, into finance, etc. So basically, I think we've got what I'd like to call home ground advantage.
Okay, so
yeah. We also have our main strength also draws from an integrated end-to-end downstream and midstream supply chain, right? Which basically entails importation of fuel into any port. We have multiple entry into Africa. We can use Mombasa. We can use Dar es Salaam. In Dar es Salaam, we have one of the largest storage facilities operated by ourselves at the port. We can use Mozambique. We can use Walvis Bay. So we do use all these facilities. So we have an end-to-end robust supply chain, which is not only at the ports, but further enhanced by our own fleet of circa 800 trucks in the region. So the logistics is done in-house by us as well. The average age of our fleet is not more than 2 years. So we have a fairly young fleet, so highly reliable in that matter. We do have in-house maintenance across the board for our fleets, for our stations, for our depots. So we have a lot of in-house work that we do, which helps us along the lines to ensure that the mining sector that we support and any other industry for that matter get the entire value chain that we offer. What we also do have is, as I mentioned, in terms of multiple entry points, it's Tanzania, Mozambique, Namibia, South Africa. There's hardly a port we don't use or we don't have a presence
Okay.
in the sub-Saharan region. Yeah. Also, I think relationships. All businesses really come down to value addition, giving value to your stakeholders, and most importantly, relationships. So I'll give you an example. We have relationships with suppliers such as ADNOC, INOC, Aramco, who are key suppliers of petroleum products. When we talk of in terms of relationships with the countries that we operate in, right? In Tanzania, we are what we have is we've acquired the gold member status with the Revenue Authority. In Zambia, we enjoy a preferential status with the Zambia Revenue Authority as well. So what that entails, in short, is that one, it's quick clearance at borders, right? And two, it's a sense of corporate governance and a sense of comfort that we've given to the revenue authorities and the governments that we operate in and the environments we operate in, that we are running everything properly and with the utmost corporate governance that we can.
Okay, so just following on that, have you identified areas for growth in the African mining space, and which countries will you be focusing on?
So I think in terms of growth, we are already predominantly fairly present in Zambia, Tanzania. For example, we've got the enterprise mines at Columbilla. The enterprise nickel mine will be the largest producer of nickel in Africa. They're expecting to produce um, circa 30,000 tons of nickel. So we are already on site there, right? In terms of growth, there is huge excitement around the Zambia DRC electric battery, excuse me, production unit. So there is the DRC, Zambia DRC Battery Council. Who are developing a value chain in the electric vehicle battery sector, which will utilize cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, copper. So that's another growth area we can look at. Um, Generally in Africa, I think we've been blessed with a lot of minerals. For example, DRC has cobalt potential for lithium deposits in countries like Zambia, Zimbabwe, Mali, Namibia. There's also a lot of rare earth elements where we see growth potential in South Africa, Burundi, Malawi, Tanzania. Gold, obviously South Africa, Ghana, Mali, Tanzania, but we've also seen young deposits coming up in countries like Zimbabwe and Zambia. Iron ore, there's substantial iron ore deposits across Africa as well. So I think in terms of areas of growth, as a continent, I think Africa is blessed. It's just a matter of now taking that potential and converting it into something tangible for the economies at stake.
Okay, thank you. And Dharmesh, how do you ensure that you adopt the latest innovations and technologies in your service offerings?
So basically, in terms of technology and innovation, we do have an entire team dedicated to, for example, we've got an entire automation team, right? We are the pioneers of a lot of systems that have been put into place in markets such as Zambia, right? We have a full-on digitalization team. We have a full-on automation team. When you talk of lubricants, we've partnered up with the American Petroleum Institute that does all our formulation. So we have an opportunity of tapping into their R&D as well. In terms of petroleum products, we always abreast of all the R&D that's going on around the world, right? We've got an entire team. Our head office is based in Dubai, so we've got an R&D team. We've got an automation team that now venture into different markets of Europe, China, Northern America as well, to see what new technologies are coming in place and how they could be adopted in Zambia. We do use GSM-based locking systems for our trucks, which is a first in the region,
Hmm?
between Zambia, Tanzania, Mozambique, etc. We're the first company to use that. We do have a lot of automation systems. We are obviously trying to, we do try to go paperless where our systems are concerned.
Hmm.
So, for example, in terms of the retail space, we've got a complete OTP system that works similarly to your debit cards. So the fuel ordering system is all automated.
Okay, that's great. And then finally, can you tell us some of your or something about your CSR initiatives in Africa?
Um, okay. As a company, we do have fairly large CSR activities. However, by virtue of the belief of my shareholders, we are not allowed to advertise it, okay, which I think is a good thing.
Hmm.
We have a Feed the Child program that we operate in. As of now, as we speak, Mount Meru Group feeds over 138,000 children every day, vulnerable schools.
Hmm.
Right, we run our feeding programs through vulnerable schools, through government schools, etc. So right now, our headcount on our Feed the Child program sits at 138,000 children, which are fed every day, which is circa 4 million meals per month. It's about 50 meals per year. So that's one of our CSR activities. We do have a lot of other CSR activities which are really country dependent. Like for example, in Zambia, we have certain schools we've adopted, we've built classrooms. We also have other initiatives in Tanzania. We do also operate a tree planting program where we plant 5 to 7,000 trees every year. Again, we work with the schools, we try to engage the schools, get the children involved in the program as well. But in terms of our main CSR activity, I would say the Feed the Child program kind of like ranks at the top.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah,
wonderful.
and with a lot of other with most of the markets we operate in, we are amongst the largest employers and taxpayers in the country as well, over and above that.
Okay. Well, Mr. Dharmesh Patel, Managing Director at Mount Meru Petroleum Zambia, thank you for joining us on Mining Review Africa for DRC Mining Week 2023
Absolute,
and for those valuable
absolute
insights.
pleasure.
Thank you. All the best for Mount Meru.
Thank you, and we'll see you at the expo.